Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 8th grade concept of slope and y-intercept. This is standard 8.4C in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 13 off the Redesign Practice Online STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So after X hours of rainfall, so that's the time on the top row of our table here. Yvette recorded the amount of rain in inches Y, that's the bottom row there. And the table shows the linear relationship. All right, so keyword here, linear relationship. That means when we graph it, we're looking at a straight line just like that. So it starts with 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours. So we're looking at how many inches of rain was in the gauge before the rain began today, and what is the rate at which it fall. All right, so before the rain began today, right? So time is going to be our x. So what if x equals 0? Well, if x equals 0, then y is going to be your y-intercept, right? What is the rate at which the rain fell? That's going to kind of let us know our y-intercept, right? Unless it starts at the origin, unless there's 0 in the rain gauge, but it looks like there might be some in the rain gauge. And then what is the rate? Okay, so that's going to be our m. So that's what it's asking for. Okay, so we're looking at our slope-intercept form. Y equals mx plus b. And this is the, what is the amount of rain before in the gauge right there? That's going to be your y-intercept, because if x equals 0, so if x is 0 right here, then in your slope times your 0 is going to become 0, and then y equals b. So that's what we're looking for. All right. So how do we solve this? There's a few different ways to kind of look at this, but now that we kind of have an idea of what we're looking for, and if you ever kind of forget about the slope-intercept form, it is going to be in your reference chart. Now, there's nothing in this problem that says slope-intercept form, and so you just need to be able to recognize it in that situation, but it's that very top line, y equals mx plus b. Though, unfortunately, the reference materials do not define m or b. You have to come into the problem knowing that m is slope, b is the y-intercept. So there's many ways to look at this. The way that makes the most sense to me is I'm going to take this table, I'm going to kind of recreate it here. And so I'm going to use the connect line feature, and I am going to kind of extend it out like this. All right, so I'm going to do, you know what, let's do this. So I'm going to put my 5, my 4, my 3. I'm going to extend that down to 2, and my 1, and my 0. Okay, that's what I'm looking for right there. So my time is still, let's get that on the draw. So my time is still going to be on this top row, and that's x. And I'm still going to have my rain. It's still going to be y. But what they gave us here was a 5, a 4, and a 3. Right? So you get your 3.75. You get your 4.5. You get your 5.25. Well, you know what? This is asking how many inches of rain was in the gauge before the rain began today. That's x equals 0. So let's back this up. 2, 1, 0. Okay? So what's the rate here? Well, it's going up, and it's going up by 0.75, right? So all I need to do is I need to go down by 0.75, right? So if I subtract 0.75, I'm going to get 3.00. Then I'm going to get 2.25. And if I keep going down, I'm going to get 1.50. Or just 1.5. All right, so I figured out the rate was 0.75 per hour. And if you back it all the way down to that 0 hour where x equals 0, look at what you started with. You started with 1.5. And we see that right down here at the bottom. There was 1.5 inches of rain in the gauge before the rain began, so that's x equals 0. And the rate fell at 0.75. That's your m, and that was the plus 75 rule. So our answer is D.